Israel Adesanya has been putting in work with his strength and conditioning in the lead up to his fight against Driscus Du Plessis at UFC 305. But just how good is his training? Let's have a look. What's going on, guys? Coach Andrew here, UFC gym, strength and fitness coach, Adesanya fanboy. Got this nifty little baseball-ish card of him. An overall martial arts nerd. And over the last few months, Israel Adesanya has been putting up some footage of his strength training leading up to the fight. It's all on his YouTube channel. You should check it out. It's actually really, really good. I might be a little bit biased, but who's telling? So we're going to have a look at it, see what's good, what we can learn from it, and maybe just get a little hype for the fights because I'm pretty hyped already, let me tell you. So today's format's going to be a little bit different to what I normally do. So we're going to have a look at the videos. I'm going to put on my nifty little headset. And we're going to have a quick little play-by-play analysis of his training. So let's buckle in. Oh, okay. So first up, big fan of the step-up, the athletic step-ups. If we go back and have a look. So the deficit lunge and the step-ups is really, really great for the hip flexors. We're working a wider range of motion, more explosive, so he can really drive off that front leg. I'm a big fan of the deficit weighted chin-ups. Getting really strong in that tie clinch, because that's a chin-up, the ring chin-ups. Delicious. And then I know some people don't like the single arm chest press, but if you think about it, I like the mechanics of it. We're sort of working unilateral strength, but the other arm has tension, also trying to make sure that when this arm's out, this hand is up. I know we're in that flat position, but it's kind of mechanically the same thing. Big fan. Oh, good. See, I like this. We're back here with the single arm dumbbell press. Cool. Chug them on the floor. Yeah, good. So agonist, antagonist, superset. Now we're working pretty much the same movement, but working the posterior side as opposed to the anterior. Rows. I'm a big fan of press into rows as a superset. I love the chemistry, this is great. But yeah, agonist, antagonist, superset, that's great stuff. I program this stuff already. I like this stuff for not just myself, but all clients of all levels. It's amazing stuff. You don't have to do single arm press into single arm rows. I'm a big fan of double press into double rows there. It's all good. Agonist, antagonist, love it.
Athletes, that's pretty much what we do. Yeah, it doesn't matter what sport it is.
Oh, split stance trap bar deadlift. If you've seen some of my other videos, big fan. Trap bar deadlift, amazing. Oh, okay. In my video about how to train like Leon Edwards, we actually did a superset sort of similar to this, right? Where we did split stance trap bar deadlift. Obviously, we're working the hip hinge movement in a more of a fight stance, but he's going into a racked position with the dumbbell. He's not doing any kind of press. He's focusing on that hip and abdominal rotation, that trunk rotation. The superset I did in the other video, you should probably check that out if you haven't already. We did it as a press movement, but it all works. We're working mechanically separate parts of a whole chain, right? Hey, plyometrics, now we're talking, baby. Ooh. Oh, okay. What's good here is plyometrics are always good, right? Plyometrics are great for any kind of athletics. I would argue that plyometrics are great for, even if you're not doing athletics, but just training the ability to produce and absorb force, right? It's the best way to strengthen your joints. Obviously within reason, within scale, right? But what I really like here is he's pushing off that leg and then trying to rebalance. Okay, so he's really got to he's not just doing multiple plyometric hops, he's doing one hop, stabilize and really focus on that. Here we go. See, this is what I was talking about, working on that elastic pressure. But yeah, here's what I was talking about, right? We're working that little short hops, working that elasticity, the joint elasticity. Once again, multiple levels and alternating heights, right? 1, 2. Once again, just great plyometric stuff. And this is not even in camp. This is off-season stuff. We're just developing basic fundamental motor patterns. And then now he's doing it with a single leg. Love it. What's really good about these kind of drills is it's really good for developing explosiveness and that spring, right? If you've ever been in a Muay Thai class, you're always doing kicks where at the end of the round, you're doing 10, 20, 30 kicks each leg, just ba, 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 ba. And you're never, you're always springing off that foot. And obviously, in grappling as well, you always want to be on your toes, ready to move and explode at any given notice. So this is this is going to have such an amazing translation into anything that he does. Stuff. Oh, damn. Okay, so this is because he's on the plates while he's doing the RDL. He has a larger range of motion, forcing a greater stretch in the hamstrings and the hips. Yeah, deficit deadlifts. I'm currently doing some of those myself, and they are brutal, but let me tell you, they are so good for you. So good for you. Ooh, okay, yeah. Oh, okay. This is good stuff. So once again, like the last time he was doing it, standing, he's at a complete stop. So he's training that like 0 to 100 power expression. And what I like about these kind of exercises with dumbbells in the right position, it's the same philosophy as doing like Zercher exercises, as we're training the back and the posterior chain to support weight through that movement and stay balanced. Okay, 4 days a week. Oh, okay, that's really good. So that's actually pretty common, right? Like 2 days of strength training for athletes is actually super common, because obviously you've got to allow time during the week for them to do their actual training, like all their wrestling, jiu-jitsu, all that kind of stuff as well. But he's also allowing 2 days for the strength training and 2 days for the conditioning specific side of things, right? So obviously working, like he was saying, anaerobic and aerobic conditioning, which is in MMA, all that shit translates. It's all good.
Just unilateral chest press. Again,
yeah. So now he's using this off season to really he's really trying to like develop that like balance level of the baseline strength.
But we have to hit the same muscles twice a week. So I don't want to do the same thing twice a week, just one at a time and just hitting it separately. So same thing here.
Yeah, excellent. I really love it. Progressive overload in its purest form. Yeah, good. See, a lot of people don't even realize how valuable anti-rotation is, you know, like obviously the ability to turn and twist with power is always good and be explosive with it, but like the ability to like resist forces, especially in like grappling, that's where you get those higher levels of control. This is really good stuff. So I really like any kind of sit-up variation where we have weight straight arm over our head. I find that really good. We're getting a big stretch of the abdominals, and we're working our core not just in flexion, but this is like an explosive expression of that flexion. This is good. So I actually in some of my programs for my clients, I do a lot of these like overhead weighted sit-ups, and that's really good. You could even just do them normally, right? But like this is a great variation because now he's also getting a big stretch on the lats and just exploding from that too. So it's sort of like a Russian twist variation. Yeah, just work on the core. Just oh, is he? He's so crazy. Beautiful. Weighted hyperextension, always good. Got to train the back too. You can't just train the front of the core, you got to train the back. Oh, Jesus, he just gave him more. Let's go, baby. Yeah, good stuff. And that pause at the top, getting that strength in the lower portion of your back. So far, a lot of good stuff here. I really like it. We're working base level plyometrics. We're working agonist, antagonist supersets. Some really good stuff. Obviously, we don't know the structure of the program, but for the most part, all the exercises that they're doing is just some really good stuff in the off season to develop all the athletic qualities that he's going to need leading up to obviously a more structured power-based, speed-based program leading up to the actual fight. So, all right. So there was that first video that really focused on purely the strength and conditioning, and the rest of it is a bit more of a vlog style thing. So I think there's little bits and pieces of strength and conditioning in here. Obviously we can see he's getting a little bit warmed up. See, this is good. Overcoming isometrics, amazing for developing strength. This is actually even good as a warm-up for like potentiating the nervous system, getting everything firing. Nothing fires the nervous system more than isometrics, especially specifically overcoming isometrics. Okay, so it looks like we're still kind of doing a lot of the same stuff, a lot of the similar plyometric movements. Death drop into single leg bound, that's good stuff. Yep, it's cool. Once again, lunge into weighted step up. Yeah, once again, like just similar stuff we saw before. Now, this stuff I actually really like. This is another version of anti-rotation and core strength. This sort of like a variation of the payloft press, but there's accommodated resistance on the trainer side, and he's obviously changing the levels of resistance. Some people like to do this with a, obviously if you're on your own, you don't have a trainer there to do that for you. You could hold the band and then put like a kettlebell on the band, so there's like a consistent varying levels of tension. Really, really good stuff. I'm a big fan of the payloft press. Yeah, so this seems to be like kind of like a carry on from the last one. Ooh, whoa, here we go, sleds, dusty sleds, sled drags. All right, on to the next video. Looks like we've got some, potentially some VO2 max testing. Obviously hooked up to that kind of stuff. They've got to test his like aerobic potential, his aerobic capabilities. Obviously this is like beginning camp now. We're getting a bit closer. Ooh, landmines. Once again, isometric. Yeah, this looks like a lot of like, let's figure out and establish what your baseline of fitness and strength are in terms of like cardiovascular output, power, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, you're never gonna know where you're at until you know where you started. Here we go. Once again, testing. So now he's gonna see what his output is. What was that, 5 seconds? Yeah, that was about 5 seconds. So now he's testing his anaerobic capacity. So those VO2 max testers are for your aerobic. This is your more anaerobic system, seeing how his cardiovascular system is responding to like high, fast levels of output. All right, and here we got him once again. So this is probably like a proper look into his VO2 max testing. This could be anywhere from like 2 to 10 minutes. We don't really know. We're just kind of like observing like a clip. So he'll do that, and then he'll stop. They take another blood sample, and now they're going to test how his blood is like transferring oxygen to the system, how fast he's going to recover from everything. So what's good about this is it's not just working, it's not just like testing his overall capacity, but it's his body's ability to recover from the work output and then have repeated sprintability. Once again, they're going to do another set of tests like closer to the fight, like near the end of the fight camp, just to see in a numbers perspective exactly how effective the training's been, what all the numbers are, how strong he's gotten, how fast he's gotten, how amazing his cardio output is. Ooh, the next video is the face off. Ooh, boy. That's the good stuff. Oof. Oh, that shit's intense. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, I'm so pumped for this fight. It's gonna be so good. Look at him. Look at him. Now what I like here is mixing some basic fundamental movements, not the dancing, the lack of range of motion on the pull on the rows, but that's fine, into battle ropes, but then also like actual skill development drills. So now they're like, while they're fatigued from the ropes, while they're fatigued from the rows, they're gonna go straight into like hitting the pads, straight into wrestling. And this is really gonna simulate the intensity of the fight, alternating single leg hops into more drills. So this stuff's really, really good too. And like, if you do really, really basic movements, you can really splice that into your MMA training. We're back at the training camp, with his trainer. Okay, so he's got at first I thought it was like a weighted vest, but it looks like it's it's got the bands on the back. And what I like about the bands is now he's punching with accommodated resistance, which basically means that the further out he is from the center, the more tension there is on the band. So that's really, really good. I would prefer this over, you know, people box with like the 1 kilo weights. This stuff's way better, right? So the problem is with punching with the weights, right? It's just a real old school way to do it when we didn't have this kind of technology. Is the 1 kilo weights are great. We're kind of like having that increased load, but the problem is gravity is pushing the weight down. So it doesn't matter if I'm punching out, gravity dictates that extra weight there is gonna go like this. And that's not what we want, right? We want more pressure from the direction that we're trying to output the force. And that's where the bands come into play. And if you don't have one of the fancy vests with like the bands attached to them, you could just grab like a regular band, right? And hold the end of it in each hand and just put it around your back so that the band kind of feeds underneath your arms. And then you can do a similar thing, right? Then we're working the same kind of thing, accommodated resistance into our punching. And that's a much better way to do it, I find. Oh, here we go. Oh, kettlebells, my favorite. See, now we're getting into the fight camp stuff. This is like power development. We're working that high levels of explosive rotation. Now he's working exploding up with the band, trap bar deadlifts. See, this is the good stuff. Oh my God, Johnny Bravo shirt. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. weighted planks. I don't like having the weight on the back, but like when you're on your own, it's super dangerous. But like, I guess if someone's there, it's fine. Oh, they're gonna, oh, that's right. Look at the crazy jump that he trainer does. What the hell? That's wild. That's wild. So if you notice everything here, everything has a band, everything has some kind of accommodated resistance in most of the movements to get like really high level output of explosive strength. So now we're taking all that strength that he developed, all that unilateral well-rounded strength. Now we're like starting to translate that into power, because what is power? It is strength plus speed. So you need the strength, the baseline of strength, to be able to output high levels of power. And that's pretty much what he's doing there. Like medicine ball rotations are so good. I'm a big fan of throwing them as well. So like having the med ball here and just like launching it, because the problem is by holding the ball constantly and just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, he's not getting that complete stretch at the end of that turn. So he's basically just doing these like short little turns, which is good, right? But I'm more of a fan of like throwing the medicine ball, because like deep down, if you know that you're gonna have to bring the ball back for the next rep, you're not going to output as fast, right? And the band pulling you back, he's gonna go with it, right? Like naturally, this is what happens. But if you have the ball and you throw it, you're doing as much explosive power as you can and launching it. In saying that, that is the movement that he was doing with the landmine press. So you could argue, right, that that is where he's getting the big strength, he's getting that explosive power through the whole movement. And then with the medicine ball, working those small little twists, he's like really focusing on the startup of that explosive movement and really like dialing that in before the big stretch. Once again, it's hard to know, there's no structure. We don't get to see the structure of everything. So all we know is that those two parts, the landmine press and the ball rotations, are done on separate days because they're at separate facilities, but he is working those on multiple days, it seems. So overall, I actually really like some of the training that he's doing. As we could see, we got to see a little bit of the off-season training, building that baseline of not just like unilateral strength and the low-level plyometrics that are obviously going to translate into the actual fight camp, building those foundations that are really going to help him produce high levels of force and more complicated movements. I'm a big fan of the eccentric weighted chin-ups. That stuff is, it's crazy. It's hard as but oh so good for you. But overall, pretty good stuff. It actually makes me pretty pumped. I've been watching this stuff over the last few months, and then I know I normally create a whole workout for it, but I thought this would be a fun little way to make something a little bit different. I might have to do more of these, but we'll see if you like this one first, and then we'll go from there. So if you like the video, please give it a like and subscribe. I've got more stuff coming up. I'm going to try and keep up to date with some fights that are coming up soon. I think Jonathan Haggerty and Superlek have their fight coming up. Pretty pumped about that, but I'm pretty sure that's like early September. So we'll see how we go. Stick around. If you haven't looked at the last video where I give you a program so you can train like a judo Olympian, please check that out, and I'll see you for the next one.